to Career Uprising. I'm your host and professional career coach, Lorraine Rise. Join me as I guide you through an amazing journey of self-discovery and empowerment. If you are looking for work, changing careers, or stuck in a toxic job, then this is the show for you. I offer both practical and spiritual guidance to help you up-level and advance your career. Let's start the uprising. Hey everybody, you are listening to episode 47, Love Yourself, Love Your Career with Genie Lee Perron. Hey guys, how are you doing? Welcome to Career Uprising. And yes, you heard right, I have a guest today. I love the shows where I have guests. I love teaching to you guys, but I like to shake it up too and bring some other voices and perspectives on here. So today is one of those special episodes. So you picked a great show to tune into. So today, in just a couple of minutes, I'm going to bring you Genie Lee Perron. Genie is another host here on Inflow Radio. She has a wonderful show called Love Your Life. I love her show. My daughter loves her show. We love her intro music. So I'm a big Genie fan, all right? So I wanted to bring her on this show. And if you haven't checked out her show, Love Your Life, you really should. Genie is a gifted life coach who helps clients really to transform their lives through the power of love and self-love. So her work, a lot of it is about loving yourself, loving your life, gratitude, and so much more. All those things that extend out from love. That love is just like the central emotion to so many other areas of our life. So, but one of those areas that Genie often does help people with also is their careers. There's a little bit of crossover in what she does and what I do. So I thought it would be wonderful to bring her on to the show because we talk about careers for sure, just a little bit on this show, right? And she knows a little bit also about how to help people through some of those challenges. So I wanted to bring her on today to show her perspective and just kind of really, hear what challenges her clients are going through. And I'm sure there are plenty of things that our listeners here on this show can pick up on about how to enjoy your life, enjoy your career, and find fulfilling work. Get past your own blocks. We're going to talk about all of those things. But before we get started, really quick, I just wanted to let you guys know too that when this show airs in April of 2019, it's going to be the 1-year anniversary of this show and this network too. I'm so excited. I cannot believe that a whole year has gone by, and I'm just so blessed to do this show. It's been growing so much and it's evolved so much. And so to celebrate, I'm doing something that I have never done before. And if you're already in my community, on my email list, you've heard me talk about this already, but I'm so jazzed for the 1-year anniversary that's coming up here for this show and this network that I'm offering 3 amazing bonuses to anyone who wants to sign up and work with me in the month of April. So if you make the commitment and sign up this month, you will receive these 3 things. Are you ready, guys? You're going to get a free copy of my new book, Career Uprising, Unlock Your Potential and Advance Your Career. It's an ebook, so you can download it instantly. Well, actually, I'm just going to send it to you. So even easier than that. But you'll get a free copy of my book. You're going to get a free meditation that I recently recorded. I've never released it. I've never sold it. It's not available anywhere else. And it's all centered around job searching and reprogramming your mind for better success and better results in your job search. And I'm going to help you save a little bit on the investment as well. You'll also get 20% off the investment for any of my 3 programs. So that's right. You get to choose what program works best for you, or I'll help you choose. And you're going to get the book, 20% off, and the meditation. Amazing, guys. And I already had my first client take me up on this offer. I announced it to my email list a couple of days ago, and I've already enrolled 1 fantastic new client on my Career Jumpstart. So congratulations to her for making that commitment to herself and her career. So all of these gifts can be yours, but you have to book a call and sign up in the month of April. It's coming up, okay? All right, so enough of that. I am really excited to bring on Genie. Are you there, Genie?
I am. Hello.
Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for carving out some time to share with me and my listeners. So welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I love to talk with you.
Good. I love collaborating, especially with other Inflow Radio hosts, because so much of what we do, I think, is just, it works so well together. I love it. So
definitely. There's an overlap with all of us.
Yes, in one way or another. Yeah, there is. So, so Jeannie, in your coaching practice, let me ask you this. I know you focus a lot on the concept of love, self-love, loving your life, and how that just extrapolates into really every area of your life. But some listeners out there, I'm wondering, may not necessarily understand the relationship between self-love and their career, right? They may just think, oh, I just need to go out and get another job or a better career without thinking about the internal aspects of it. But in your experience, how are those two things related?
All right. That's a great question. I always like to say this because everyone's heard this. No matter where you go, there you are. So no matter what area of your life you're looking at that you might want to change. And, when most people come to a life coach, there's one particular area usually that they're thinking, oh, I want to change this. I don't like this part of my life, blah, blah, blah. And no matter what, that part of your life is a reflection of what's going on within you. And so once you can recognize that you are creating your world around you because of your thoughts, because of the actions that then come from those thoughts, and you can do that without beating yourself up about it, without saying, oh, I'm a horrible person because of this. But you can just look at it with judgment-free awareness and say, hey, I can take back my power. You take back responsibility, which is the ability to respond. And so if you're coming from a place of feeling undeserving of good things and feeling like you're a horrible person and feeling like you're not good enough and all of those thoughts that many of us picked up from our childhood, you can see why you would be creating experiences that you're not happy with in whatever area of your life, whether it's career or your home life, your love life, your spirituality, whatever area, it all boils down to. And the longer I've worked with clients, the more I've found that it all boils down to, do you think you're deserving of these good things that you're wanting?
Oh, I agree. I did another show recently called Why We Undervalue Ourselves, because I see this so much in people's careers that they feel like they have to apologize for what they want or not being deserving, or even just having a hard time talking about themselves in interviews and claiming their accomplishments and talking about their strengths. I can't tell you how many times I hear people say, I'm not good at talking about myself, or saying that that's a strength of mine. It's almost like they need permission to say, yes, you're good at that.
Yes, exactly. And I think that that's not that uncommon. I see that a lot, that, somewhere along the line, a lot of us have been told that, it's not good to talk about what you're good at. Like, you shouldn't be bragging about that. You got to be humble and don't toot your own horn. And, I was raised that way. Be humble, and so I, for a long time, had a really hard time getting out there and owning what I'm good at.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of people struggle with that. And you're right. It bleeds into every area of their life. And there is this general feeling sometimes of unworthiness. But, I really believe, and I tell clients, there is an intentional and authentic way to say those things that doesn't come off as bragging. You can do it in a genuine, authentic way where you're just claiming your value and it doesn't take away from anyone else. Other people should do the same too, right? So when you're good at something, it doesn't mean it's at the expense of somebody else. It just means you're stating something about you. And it's a really hard place for people to get to internally. Exactly. Sometimes.
It's not a zero-sum game. It's like, if I win, that doesn't mean someone else has to lose.
Right.
It's really I think the biggest thing is, you can own your own worth and not be a narcissist. A narcissist, doesn't see the good in anyone else. It's like you can own your own goodness and your own power, and also recognize that other people are also really good and powerful, that we're all kind of in that same boat, and we all have different strengths and they can complement each other.
Absolutely. So in your practice as a life coach, when it comes to careers, what are some of the main challenges that you see? You know, if there was maybe a top one or two barriers or challenges career-wise that people are coming to you with, what are you seeing happening with clients?
My goodness. I just had a client just this week that she's a young lady, and she is a licensed cosmetologist. She's really, really good at what she does. But she's in an assistant position right now, and she's afraid to ask for more. She's afraid to say, hey, I want to work with clients. I want my own chair. I want my own, and she's becoming more and more resentful of the position that she's in as an assistant. And so when we were talking this past session, it was, we did a little clearing, a little venting of, what she's feeling. And she was just, going on about how horrible she feels about feeling like she's everybody's, she used a word I'm not going to use on air, but, feeling like she's like everybody's, servant and, all of that. And I said, look, it's like, what needs to change? Now, you being so upset, that's these are all valid points, that you're making. And these are all valid. It's valid for you to feel this way. It's okay for you to feel angry and upset and disgruntled, but you don't want to stay in that feeling. So what needs to shift? It's your signal that something needs to change. And you're not going to control your boss, and you're not going to control anyone else. So what can you control in this situation? And she's like, well, I could talk to my boss and tell her. And I said, okay, so that's good. So what is holding you back from doing that? And it bubbled out that she doesn't feel good enough. She feels like her boss is going to say, no, you're not good enough for that. You're not ready for that. You're not. And, so overcoming that feeling of not good enough and finding your voice to be able to communicate your needs. That's a big one with a lot of people, and honoring your value within that.
Yeah. And I think a big part of that is there's this concept out there of the inner critic, and we all have that. And it's, but some, we have to learn to manage it, right? And to quiet it, and when to listen to it, when not to. Is that something that you see in a lot, just that self-criticism that holds people back, or, that they make decisions differently because they think they're not worthy, or they don't take career risks or anything like that? Do you see that criticism and self-judgment come up in people?
A lot in every area, and a lot in career. Because when you think about it, we do a job, and when we start a new job, you're sort of outside of your comfort zone. You've started something new. It's scary, but you do it. And then if you're like a lot of people, you get, really good and comfortable in that position. But, if you're like my client, you're dissatisfied. You've grown and you want to move past it, but it's scary. Anytime you're going to step out of that comfort zone, there's a little bit of fear that comes up. And when fear comes up, guess who comes up with it? That inner critic, pops up its lovely little head and starts telling you, yeah, you need to be scared. You're not good enough. You can't do that. Stay safe. It just wants to keep you safe. And so I see that a lot. And, working with, depending on the client, different ways of getting them to kind of separate themselves from that voice a little bit, and recognizing when it's popping up, and is it a rational fear or an irrational fear? Is there really a bear at the door? If there's no real bear at the door, just do it anyway. Feel the fear, do it anyway. If there's a bear at the door, slam the door and call animal control.
Yeah, so that fear that to protect us, keep us safe, is there for very primal reasons, right? Survival and instincts, but in the modern world, I think we just apply it to everything. Like our brain doesn't know the difference. You know what I mean? Like
our brain hasn't changed.
Yes. Your brain's just doing its job, and it's trying to keep you from getting eaten by a bear, right? And, but we don't separate those two things and go, okay, no, that fear isn't appropriate here. I shouldn't actually be afraid of that. I just haven't done it yet. It's not like there's something that's going to eat me or in a fire or something like that. So it's a really big distinction to make, is you have to really master your brain, or it's in your mind, or it's going to master you, and you're be afraid of all these things that there's no fear. There's no reason to fear them. There's nothing wrong with them.
And most of the time, if you can remember a time in your life where you've conquered a fear and it wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be, it's like, I'd say 99, I never say always, but 99% of the time, the fears really, once you've taken some action steps towards resolving that feeling and stepping out of the comfort zone and taking those steps, it wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be. And everything works out. It really does. And so I think really getting into that mindset of judgment-free awareness, recognizing that this is my inner critic talking, and then challenging that inner critic, saying, you know what if that wasn't true? What would I be doing? What action would I take if what this inner critic is telling me is not true? What would I be doing?
A lot of people don't allow themselves to go there in their mind, right? And create this kind of alternate future where there isn't fear and they are acting freely. And then it kind of helps to reveal how much fear really does hold you back. And, and a fear, the opposite of that fear really is love, right? Because if you have love for a situation, there's nothing to fear. There's just it doesn't make any sense, right?
Exactly.
There's nowhere for it to come in.
Yep. And that's the thing. And this is, I often use the metaphor of like a gas gauge. And on one far end of that gas gauge is fear, and on the other end is love. And whenever you find yourself in a situation, that little arrow is going to kind of fluctuate between the fear and the love. And just try to point it towards the love as much as you can. Get out of that fear and recognize what belief is holding me back. And how can I change that? I use a lot of positive affirmations with people, just kind of, habits of thought form. It's almost like, you've got a path in your brain that is like, goes to that sort of automatic autopilot of thought. And when you're wanting to change it, it takes time. It takes conscious, deliberate effort to change those thoughts. And one tool that you can use is affirmations. So when you catch yourself in one of those fear-based thoughts, you can say to yourself, nope, that's how I used to think. I'm choosing to think differently. And with any habit, you've got to replace it. If you want to get rid of a limiting belief, you've got to replace it with something. So you find, have your toolbox. I always suggest with clients sticky notes of, recognize your limiting belief, and then on a sticky note, change it to a positive affirmation and put it everywhere you can. And when you see it, say it. Rewire that brain.
Can you think of, do you have any maybe examples or sample affirmations that are maybe career related or anything that you can share or that you've shared with clients that have worked well for them? And I know career is broad, but anything around, self-love, self-confidence, taking career risks, claiming their value. Or can you think of any good affirmations maybe that people could get started with?
Yeah. A lot of times people will say things to me like, oh, I can't stand my job. I hate my boss. I don't earn enough money. They don't appreciate me. I can't get along with anybody at work. I don't know what I want to do. All kinds of negative, really kind of defensive, fear-based thinking. And it's kind of like when you're having those thoughts running, whether you're aware of them or not, you're creating more of that. So when you're thinking about switching those to more positive affirmations, you want to think about, I'm open and receptive to a new wonderful position, one that uses all of my talents and abilities. I allow myself to express myself creatively, and I find ways to do this in a fulfilling way in my work. I work with people that I love. I respect the people that I love. I love my job. There are lots of jobs out there, and I find one easily that fits me and my needs. There's all kinds of ways to just sort of rework that. And I always like to say with affirmations, you want to put it in the positive tense, and you want to imagine, what does that feel like? when I say that affirmation, imagine that it's true. What does it feel like? Because to me, the feeling is the magic. That's the magic sauce. That's the pixie dust.
Yes. So, I agree. Absolutely. So maybe what would you say? I know one thing that people say a lot with affirmations, or maybe somewhere they get kind of hung up, is that it doesn't feel true yet, right? So they may say, I love my job and I'm happy with my boss, but then they're like, yeah, that's a bunch of garbage. I hate my boss. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel authentic, right? Yeah. So what would you just say to somebody maybe who's kind of getting through with that, where the affirmation just feels kind of flat because they're not there yet in their life? You know what I mean? It feels a little bit false, but how do you kind of push through that? It sounds like maybe putting feeling behind it will help, or kind of projecting yourself into how it will feel when you get to that space. Go ahead.
Yep, there's a couple of things. One, I studied with Louise Hay personally, and it was an honor to meet her and work with her. And she was a funny lady. But one of the things she used to say is, if it were already true for you, you wouldn't need an affirmation. So it's like, you've got these subconscious thoughts that are going through your mind all the time. And if they are some of those negative or limiting ones, they're just playing as an auto, kind of an auto loop in your head. And so you need to create an affirmation in order to overwrite it. And if it's not going to feel true at first. And so when that happens, I usually try to soften it with clients, because you want to get them to buy in a bit. So I will usually do something like, if it feels really, really alien to you, I'll usually have them work with a mirror, say it in the mirror and see what comes back, because that usually uncovers more limiting beliefs. And then to just say to themselves, I am willing to learn whatever. So I'm willing to learn to love my job. I'm willing to look for the good in my fellow coworkers. I'm willing to find good qualities in my boss. And so the nice thing about that is the universe is hearing it. The universe is responding to the vibes that we're putting out. So just by softening it and saying, I am willing to, you've now opened the door for the universe to find the way to do that. So you don't even have to know how that's going to happen. You can let go of that. You don't have to know how. You don't have to know when. But you can just be willing. And it softens your energy. It opens the door.
I love that. And one thing to build upon that too, that I say on my show a lot is visualization. Do you use visualization as well with your clients?
Always.
If, visualizing a new job, a new career, anything like that. Speak to that a little bit, if you don't mind, as well, how that can help people to kind of project into a new future almost.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I own the Love Your Life Center here in Plymouth. And a lot of times, one of my most popular workshops is the vision board workshops. And so I usually start that with having them visualize. I do a guided visualization. I have them do sort of a wheel of life thing with the different areas of life. And then I have them think about, pick one area in your life and imagine what it would look like if it were a perfect 10. And spend some time. How does it feel? What does it look like? Bring all your senses into it. And I really get them kind of primed for that. And then we do a vision board where I just have a bunch of arts and craft materials and magazines and pictures and words and stickers and stamps and everything. And then they just have fun creating this visual representation of what they saw in their visualization. And I think that is so incredibly powerful. And when you bring in the feeling of that, so what can you do to bring the feeling of that into your life even before you have this manifestation? Make the feeling one of the first manifestations. So looking for ways within your life that, you've pictured this perfect outcome, you've pictured this wonderful job, you've pictured all of the things that go along with it. What does it feel like? And then how can you bring that feeling into your life now?
It's like it's merging the future with the present in the coolest way. I love that. Absolutely. Anytime you want to make a change, whether it's your career or anything else, I completely agree with you. When you can start, even and take baby steps in little ways, start embodying that person in the future that you want to become or that situation you want to be in, thinking, feeling, acting, even in one or two ways, the way that version of you would, it's almost like it brings the future into the present a little bit in the coolest way. So
yes,
I love that. I'm a big fan of visualization as well.
Me too.
And yeah.
It's powerful because your brain thinks in pictures. Your brain,
yeah.
That's how our subconscious works, this is why I love like oracle decks and things like that. It's like your brain reacts to pictures even better than words, really. So very
wonderful.
Powerful.
Well, this has been wonderful. Genie, tell us just a little bit more too about your practice, where people can learn more about you. If you have a website, I would definitely want listeners to be able to learn more about you and even contact you if they're interested in working with you, anything like that. So tell us a little bit more about who you help, what you do in your practice, and where people can learn about you.
All right. Well, basically, I can help anybody that is wanting to improve their life, empower their life, and change the way they're thinking so that they can change their life, so that they can take the responsibility in their life, the ability to respond to their life. So I work with people, all kinds of people, usually women, but I do have a few male clients. People can reach me at www.genieleeperron.com. It's GenieLeePerron.com. You can also find me on Facebook. I have a very active author page on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Genie Lee Perron. You can message me there if you're looking to work one-on-one. Usually that's the best way to reach me. My Schedule 1 slots fill up so fast that I can't keep ahead of them. So if you want to really get in touch with me, grab me on Facebook. And you can also email me at genie@genieleeperron.com. I do have a couple of spots open right now, and then a short waiting list for some of my programs for one-to-one coaching. I'm finishing up an online group right now, but I will be offering another online group coaching soon. And I'm always happy to hear from people. I love to hear your stories, and I'd love to be able to help you if you're looking to empower your life.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. This has been a great conversation. And I really, really believe that loving yourself is the root of everything, to being able to have the confidence to go out and pursue the career you want, ask for the raise that you want, interview confidently. Yeah, I mean, it just, people don't realize how it affects every aspect of their life.
Absolutely.
So I think this is a really important topic. Well, thank you so much. So to my listeners, well, that is a wrap for this episode, but I will be back next week. I'll have a fresh topic for you. But in the meantime, as I always say, go out there and be your beautiful, magnificent self. And I will talk to you guys next time. That's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard today, please consider giving the show a positive review on iTunes. It would mean a lot to me, and it would help to spread the word so that others can learn about the show. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to connect with you again next time on Career Uprising.
This show is brought to you by InflowRadio.com, the best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.